They're so wicked and hateful that they see a black pilot and just go, And it's like, what's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? Y'all need to be, what is it called when they get the demon out of you? An exorcism. Find a substitute for Twitter. Bruh, anybody, somebody, I don't care who it is. Can a black creator create a social media platform that can rival Twitter? I don't understand why Jay-Z hasn't done it, Beyonce, anybody, bro, 50 Cent, somebody. This is crazy at this moment in time.
I have not used Twitter. I try to use Twitter. I still don't understand Twitter. I know it's just a conversation. It's just conversation starters. That's what I heard John Cena said. But for me, I just can't get into it. But could be because I don't like writing like that anyway. So that could be it. Anyway, so I ain't tripping about it. But let's see what else he has to say.
This game, DEI, black people being hired for this. Diversity means hate white people. And I'm just like, oh my God, bro. Can y'all just be quiet? Can y'all just stop whining every 5 seconds?
That's why I stay away from all that. I can't. That's why I tell you, I stay away from that kind of circles, those type of talks, political spectrum, that all those issues. I stay away from them. At least I want my channel to stay away from them because people say things that doesn't make sense. But I wanted to react to this topic because I heard something that was so silly. I can't wait for him to go into it.
Just, bro, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. Like, I can't even go on and see what's going on in the world without some person, without at least one person bringing up black people in a disparaging way, right? It's not like they giving praise. They just trying to just rag on black people. I'm just like, bruh, this brings me to this woman. And
it's always some slick. You can hear it. You can hear it. You can hear the disrespect in their voices.
Incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts and they sell them for $19 a piece. It's pretty amazing.
See, because even the sneaker thing, I was on social media last night. Very interesting as you see black support eroding from Joe Biden. This is connecting with black America because they love sneakers. They're into sneakers. They love this is a big deal, certainly in the inner city. So when you have Trump roll out his sneaker line, they're like, wait a minute, this is cool. He's reaching them on a level that defies and is above politics. The culture always trumps politics. And Trump understands culture like no politician I've ever seen.
You know what I'm talking about? Them racist folks sometimes, man, it don't make no damn sense. Thankfully, it's not everybody. Thankfully. We read in history books, well, at least what was given. I'm sure it was way worse than what we see in the history books, especially from school. that world, way before the civil rights movement, man, like that world. I don't know if I could. I definitely wouldn't have survived. I would have went out somewhere. I went out punching somebody because I could. If you ever watch the movie Hidden Figures, yo, the level of I couldn't survive in that.
There's no bathroom for me here.
What do you mean there's no bathroom for you here?
There is no bathroom. There are no colored bathrooms in this building or any building outside the West Campus, which is half a mile away. Did you know that? I have to walk to Timbuktu just to relieve myself. And I can't use one of the handy bikes. Picture that, Mr. Harrison. My uniform, skirt below my knees, my heels, and a simple string of pearls. Well, I don't own pearls. Lord knows you don't pay colored enough to afford pearls. And I work like a dog day and night, living off of coffee from a pot none of you want to touch. Excuse me if I have to go to the restroom a few times a day.
Why? Racism is such a limited thought process. I could not survive in that kind of world. I couldn't. I'm telling you, I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just could not. Like, this ignorance in that time is crazy. Even worse, it's just as bad now. We can say, it's gotten better over time, but is that really saying much?
So these white inferiorists like Charlie Kirk, constantly, they have an inferiority problem with black people because they feel inferior. I don't say that. That's what they say. And constantly talking about, oh, I wouldn't feel safe if it was a black pilot. Right? You had Candace Owens saying the same things. That's why I'm saying some of y'all were talking about, well, Lucas, she didn't say any lies in the Ben Shapiro video. That's how she gets you, pimpin'.
Yep.
That's how she gets you, okay? I even told y'all it's a poison sandwich. Of course she's gonna say a little bit of truth. That's how they get you in.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing
That's how they get you. Like, if you listen long enough, I said, I don't delve in this world. I don't want to talk about it too much. But if you listen long enough, please, people, when people say things, don't just go off feelings. Let your brain do what it's meant to do. Let it think for you. Let it think. Think it through. When somebody says something that doesn't make sense to you, in your mind is like, your brain's like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was a moment where I really did feel like we had gone through a time warp.
Such a bizarre formulation.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
What are you talking about?
Right.
Doesn't make any sense. Let your brain think it through and watch. Once you think it through, you'll see it all crumbles. Whatever thought process they're standing on, it all crumbles, especially when you start asking questions. Because it doesn't make any sense. You can't trust a black pilot? Why? Huh?
okay, I'm trying to save y'all. Y'all talking about with Lucas, she didn't say any lies. Pimping, you missing it. It's going over your head. But back on point. You have, thanks to Charlie Kirk, who's trying to bring up DEI and inclusivity and all this bull crap, because I want you to understand, all this is based upon lies. Think about this. This is based upon lies. They want you to believe that in America, a country that has never fully accepted and embraced black Americans, never, they want us to believe, actually it's not even us, because we live in it. They want them to believe that they are hiring unqualified black people due to them simply being black. Never in the history of this country has that ever happened, bro. Never in the history of this country, bro. Not even during war times did that happen. They didn't want us on the battlefield during war times.
Doesn't make any sense.
Do you understand? Do you not get this? But they want us to believe, oh yeah, you just getting hired because you're black. That has never been the case for us ever. It's been the case for them, but this is what I'm talking about. They want to accuse us of everything they're guilty of. And it's just the level of gaslighting. I don't know how you can be black and sane in this country if you are aware of what's going on. I really don't know. I understand why when black people get to a certain rate, right? When you get to a certain income, they just shut it all off, bro. They just shut it all off because it's not good for your mental health.
What do you think I'm trying to do, y'all?
For your mental health.
Let's get that together.
To listen to the gaslighting that these demons spew out. And the thing is, they're so, low IQ that they feed it up. They eat it up, bro. You can have Charlie Kirk tell all these PWTs that, hey, be scared if your pilot is black. And all these PWTs will go and actually look at who's the pilot? Who's the pilot? Bro, it's what Lyndon B. Johnson.
I've been looking for this quote forever. If you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you. Happens every day while we're arguing back and forth. The real about color issue, racism, colorism, all this kind of stuff. There's people out there that don't even care. They just want your money. But we out here fighting, you fighting us. Yo, they're coming to take your jobs. I mean, there's barely any jobs to begin with. Don't you see AI doing that? Like, what are you talking about? Why you blame minorities? AI is doing that. I'm trying to tell y'all, they don't pay attention. Just let your brain think through. I promise you, you'll get to a better place. You can let your brain do what it's supposed to do.
So you have this woman, Lauren Witzke or whatever her name is, and she posts this video of a black pilot. Now, I know what you're thinking, because this is what I was thinking. What's the point? Like, why are you posting this black pilot?
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to fearmonger the PWTs, bro. That's what she's trying to do by saying, "Hey, goodbye to the white-haired pilots and meet their replacements." And it's just a black pilot. I don't know what's wrong with these people, bro. I've never in my life, never, okay, ever in my life, just been like, see a white person be like, it never has happened. It's never happened, bro. It's
the weirdest thing,
never
man.
happened. They're so wicked and hateful that they see a black pilot and just go, And it's like, what's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? Y'all need to be, what is it called when they get the demon out of you? An exorcism. That's what that's what they need. They need an exorcism.
Like what? I don't
They got
get
Satan
it.
all up in them. He's
That's why I just want to find my own
living
place
in
and
them
just.
rent free.
I tell my
So
sister
I'm
this
like,
all the time.
bro, that's crazy. You
The
just
moment I
upset
get
at a
to that
black
point
pilot.
where I
It
can
got
just
so
go
bad, and I
space,
kid you not,
I'm
this
out,
guy's
yo.
my witness.
I'm out.
The
'Cause I
community
can't
note
do
said,
it.
this woman, the pilot is doing nothing wrong.
Because it don't make no sense. Let's go check out the other video.
Let's look at something completely different now. This clip was sent to me by about a dozen of you. Yesterday, in another attack on DEI programs, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and in an attack on wokeness, etc.
If you haven't seen my video about how I break down wokeness, I broke it in my last video before I took my break about Marvel and wokeness and how people keep blaming wokeness for Marvel's mistakes. No, wokeness has nothing to do with that. Again, woke, the term, is a word that was used during the civil rights movement, way before then anyway, for the black community, minorities, to keep an eye on police, systematic racism, and police brutality. But for some reason, it's been hijacked here these days to blame companies and movies for having diversity hires. This is what happens when you don't think things through. This is what happens when you just let your feelings and fear take the best of you. When you get caught up in the fear mongering, it doesn't make any sense. You're getting mad at studios and companies for hiring, for practicing inclusion, to make sure people get represented, to make sure people get a fair shot. But instead, they go, well, we're hiring unqualified people. Then you must inherently believe that minorities are unqualified people in general, as if they don't have intelligence. High IQs are unable to take tests and pass. Let me not get started. Let's keep watching.
Organizer, I guess I would call him, Charlie Kirk, said that when he gets on an airplane and he sees a black pilot, folks, he says he sees a black pilot, he's worried about whether the pilot is actually qualified. Now, this comes after Charlie Kirk questioned the worth of Martin Luther King Day. Let's take a listen to it and then let's discuss.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking about that.
You want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Doesn't make any sense. No one ever thought that. All you thought is that you just hope the person can fly the plane. Doesn't matter who's flying. But what happens is when you say things that's so idiotic and you don't think things through and you let your feelings, you get surrounded by people who groupthink. Yeah, you're right. That's how I feel. Doesn't make any sense.
That's not what I believe.
It is the reality.
It actually sounds like it is. This is the movement that he has inspired. Now, I've heard similar stuff about female pilots, and often it starts with, I'm sorry, but. When you hear I'm sorry, but, it's very often something horribly sexist, racist, or xenophobic that's coming.
That's common.
Now, there's a couple different aspects to this. The reality is that there is a long history of excellence in flight among Black Americans. You look up the history of chief pilots at airlines. It feels stupid to even do this part of the story because it's almost like we're arguing the facts, and this is actually about ideology. This isn't really he's obviously wrong on the facts.
Right.
Now, I hate to tell Charlie and maybe his cohorts here who feel the same way. Because of the pilot shortages that have been experienced by airlines, the standards have dropped in general. It's not about race. It's not about gender. It's not about affirmative action. The pilot shortage, which has been driven by factors including retirement and attrition, and also growth in air travel, meaning there are more flights for which pilots are needed, it's been a strain on the aviation industry. And so there have been all sorts of waivers and exemptions issued by major airlines, as well as regional airlines, to try to bring pilots up sooner than previously they might have been able to. Now, I don't want to get specific about flight hours because oftentimes the flight hour requirement isn't changing on paper, but there are waivers and accelerations and different things that can be finagled and maneuvered. College degrees at one point were you got to have a college degree. It's still advantageous, but there's more flexibility on college degrees as well when it comes to airline pilots. So there is a real story if you want to have the conversation,
right,
about the ways in which the pilot shortage has affected aviation.
That everybody gets affected.
I see a black pilot and I worry stuff is really the worst of the brain rot. Now, I don't know why I feel it necessary to mention this.
These things come into play because of unfairness, because of systematic racism. So you put things in place to make sure people get a fair shot. It's really that simple. As time progresses, society evolves, things change, things get changed for the better. You can remove those things because now everybody has their fair shot. Like anything extreme, any ideology, any thought process, anything that you do, too much of it, let's go back to the basics. Too much of a good thing sometimes is bad for you. It's okay to put things in check. Hey, we're finally at a place where we can have enough black folks, minorities, getting a fair shot. Okay, cool. We don't want to get I'm all about not doing too much and putting so many people in where it feels like somebody else gets discriminated. We should not do unto others that we don't want done to us. I get that. That's the conversation we should be having. Anyway, that's all I want to say about this conversation because I saw this and I had to really react to it. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. My name is Rick. Rick Reacts Games. Like, share, subscribe, and comment, y'all. Let's get this started. Let's grow this channel. And I'm with y'all. First video back.